Hello everyone, this is M. Sandeep Kumar and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel Concepts of IIT Maths. So we have already completed the chapter of quadratic equations and we are discussing the previous year questions given in JEE Mains exam, and here we have taken JEE Mains 2019. So in various shifts, that means in various papers. So in each paper we have found one question from the chapter of quadratic equations. So there are many papers here, around 8 papers. So we are going to discuss each question given in each paper. So each question of quadratic equation from the papers. Okay now. So more than 8 I guess. So let us see those questions. Now let us discuss those questions. The first half of the questions will be discussed in part 1 and the next half of the questions will be discussed in part 2. So in this video let us discuss the questions given in JEE Mains 2019. Let us start, and you make sure that you're watching the video till end, and most importantly, if you have not subscribed the channel, subscribe it and don't miss any of the questions, any of the videos. Let us start. Here is our question, which was given in JEE Mains 2019 in the shift of 9 Jan morning shift. Okay na? So here is the question. Let alpha and beta be two roots of this equation x square plus 2x plus 2 equal to 0. Then alpha power 15 plus beta power 15 is equal to. You can try solving this using symmetric function of roots, but since there are higher powers, alpha power 15 plus beta power 15, if you go with that particular concept, it may be lengthier, and we don't choose lengthier solutions for questions here, right? So let us use complex numbers concept while solving alpha power 15 plus beta power 15. Remember, if there are higher powers, we might use the concept of complex numbers. But first of all, let us find the roots, the two roots alpha and beta for this equation. It is easier to find using quadratic formula. So use quadratic formula and find the roots. Minus b plus or minus root over b square minus 4 into a into c, 4 into a into c, whole divided by 2 into a. Using quadratic formula, you'll get minus 2 plus or minus and under root, you'll get 4 minus 8, which is minus 4. So root over minus 4 is nothing but root 4 into root over minus 1. That means it is 2i. So therefore x is equal to, if you take the common denominator separately, you will get minus 1 plus or minus I. So the two roots are what? Therefore the first root is minus 1 plus I and the second root is minus 1 minus I. Let us find what is alpha power 15 and what is beta power 15. First I will go with alpha power 15. If you understand how to find out alpha power 15, similarly you can find beta power 15. So take alpha power 15, that means minus 1 plus I whole power 15. First let us take minus 1 outside. Minus, if I take common here and here, minus power 15. Minus 1 power 15 into 1 minus I whole power 15. Let us convert the thing inside in the form of cos theta plus I sin theta, or cos theta minus I sin theta, whatever it is. For this we are supposed to divide with root over a square plus b square here and here, right? So root over a square plus b square, a is 1, b is the coefficient of I, that means minus 1. So root over a square plus b square means root over 1 square plus minus 1 square. Root over 1 square plus minus 1 square, which is nothing but root 2. So let us multiply and divide the numerator and denominator with, let us multiply the numerator and denominator with root 2 inside the brackets. So minus 1 power 15 is minus. Inside the brackets, I have multiplied with root 2 and I have divided with root 2. And take this root 2 outside this brackets and it will take 15 along with it. So minus root 2 power 15 into, you are left out with 1 by root 2 minus I into 1 by root 2 whole power 15. So minus root 2 power 15 as it is, and this can be written as cos pi by 4 minus I into sin pi by 4 whole power 15. So I'm using De Moivre's theorem. So if something is like cos alpha minus I sin alpha whole power n, that n can be taken as the coefficient of this number, of this angle. So which means that here and here. So it is minus 2 power 15 by 2 as it is. This is cos 15 pi by 4 minus I sin 15 pi by 4. So 15 pi by 4 can be written as 4 pi minus pi by 4. So I'm erasing this. So what do you get? Alpha power 15 is equal to minus 2 power 15 by 2 into, so this is going to, can be written as cos of 4 pi minus pi by 4, and that is written as minus I sine of 4 pi minus pi by 4. So which is equal to minus 2 power 15 by 2 into 4 pi minus is nothing but in fourth quadrant, right? In fourth quadrant cos is positive, and 4 pi is an even multiple, cos will be cos only, cos pi by 4, and this is again in fourth quadrant, 4 pi minus pi by 4, where sign is negative. So if sign is negative, this minus will become plus, and again 4 pi is an even multiple, sign will be sign only, it is I sine pi by 4. So remember this. Similarly, you find out what is beta power 15 using the same concept, same method. Okay, now you'll get minus 2 power 15 by 2 into cos pi by 4 minus I sine pi by 4. Same method, same method. There is no, just plus and minus will change. You can find it out. And finally, you can add these two. So when you add alpha power 15 plus beta power 15, you can take minus, see here and here I can take minus 2 power 15 by 2 common. And when I have taken these things common, cos pi by 4 plus cos pi by 4 is 2 cos pi by 4. And this anyhow will get cancelled. So cos pi by 4 value is what? Cos pi by 4 value is 1 by root 2. So 2 into 1 by root 2. So this can be written as so therefore 2 by root 2 is nothing but root 2, right? So minus 2 into minus 2 power 15 by 2, and this is root 2. Root 2 is nothing but 2 power 1 by 2. So use a power m into a power n formula. So you'll get minus 2 power 15 by 2 plus 1 by 2 is 16 by 2, which is nothing but 8. So minus 2 power 8. Minus 2 power 8 is our answer. So minus 2 power 8 is 256. Therefore the answer is first option. Alpha power 15 plus beta power 15 is minus 256. You can also find alpha power 15 plus beta power 15 using binomial theorem, but it is lengthier process. So we have chosen this. Let us go to the next question. Here is our second question. If both the roots of this quadratic equation are real and distinct, observe this, and they lie in the interval, 1 comma 5. Both the roots are real and distinct, at the same time they lie in this interval 1 comma 5. Then m lies in which interval they are asking. So we have already discussed this concept in the topic of location of roots. So you can go to the playlist of quadratic equations and find that concept. So all the concepts under location of roots is clearly explained along with examples. If you want, you can go through it, and let us see this concept here. Let us see the solution. Understand first of all, they told that the roots lie in this interval 1 comma 5. So let us go to the number line, and I'll take the numbers 1 and 5. He told that both the roots lie inside this interval. So alpha and beta both lie in this interval, and moreover the coefficient of x square is positive. It is an upward parabola. Okay, na? And the roots are real and distinct, which means the two roots are real and distinct. So here is alpha and here is beta. It is an upward parabola. So we are supposed to use the concept where the two roots come between 1 and 4. That means k1 and k2. If you use that concept, you'll get the answer. What is it? The first condition. The first condition is that a into f of k1 is greater than 0. A into f of k1 greater than 0. The second condition is that a into f of k2 is greater than 0. So a is coefficient of x square, which is 1, into f of k1 is 1. Observe that at 1, if you go to the graph, it is above the x-axis, right? So f of 1 is above the x-axis. So f of 1 is positive. It's as simple as that. So 1 into f of 1 is greater than 0. Solve it. Find f of 1. Take the take the quadratic expression. F of x is equal to x square minus mx plus 4. Find out what is f of 1. So you get 1 square minus m into 1 plus 4. So 1 square minus m into 1 plus 4 greater than 0. So that means 5 minus m greater than 0. Or if you multiply with minus on both sides, m minus 5 is less than 0. This is the first inequality. Next, if you go to the second condition, a into f of k2 greater than 0, where a is 1 and the second constant k2 is 5, so f of 5 is greater than 0. Check whether it is correct or not. F of 5 at input 5, if you go to the graph, it is clearly above the above the x-axis, which means that f of 5 is positive, right? That is the second condition. F of 5 is positive. So find out what is f of 5. 5 square minus m into 5 plus 4 greater than 0. So 5 square is 25 plus 4 29. 29 minus 5m. And if I multiply with both minus on both sides, you will get 5m minus 29 less than 0. So this is the second condition that I am going to use. Second inequality. Next, the third thing is about the discriminant delta. Since the roots are real and distinct, delta must be greater than 0. Remember this. Delta must be greater than 0 to get real and distinct roots. So that means b square minus 4ac. Use it. B square minus 4ac. So b square means minus m square minus 4 into a into c greater than 0. So you'll get m square minus 16 greater than 0. M square minus 4 square greater than 0. Use a square minus b square formula. A plus b into a minus b greater than 0. That means m plus 4 into m minus 4 greater than 0. This is the third inequality that we are supposed to use. And finally, the fourth inequality is that about minus b by 2a. Minus b by 2a is between 1 and 5, right? That is about the fourth inequality. So minus b by 2a is between 1 and 5. So that means that 1 is less than minus b. Minus b means minus of minus m, which means plus m divided by 2a means 2 into 1. So multiply with 2 everywhere, you'll get 2 less than m less than 10. This is the fourth inequality. These are the four inequalities that we are supposed to use to find out in which interval m lies. So if you want to learn the concept of location of roots very clearly, you can go to the playlist of quadratic equations. There you can find it. Or if you have already learned, that's fine, very good, fine, well and fine. So let us take the common interval which is observed in all these four conditions, all these four inequalities. Okay now, so to take the number line, I'm going to erase it. I'm going to erase this part. I'm going to erase this. Here is our number line. Take all the zeros from all the polynomials. Among this, the least zero is minus 4. And after that, 2. And after that, 4. And then 5. And after that, the zero of this polynomial, 29 by 5. And finally, 10. So all the zeros are located first of all. Now, the first condition says that m is less than 5, right? M is less than 5. The second condition says that m is less than 29 by 5. The third condition says that m, if you take minus 4 and plus 4, and because the sign is greater than, and moreover the coefficient of m square is positive, okay now, you can either use wavy curve method or you can use my shortcut. What is it? The values of m does not lie between minus 4 and plus 4. Because the sign is greater than, it does not lie between minus 4 and plus 4. So that means it is less than minus 4 or it is greater than plus 4. And finally, the fourth inequality says that the value of m lies between 2 and 10. Okay now, so the value of m lies between 2 and 10. So here it is, 2 and 10. You are supposed to take that particular interval which contains all the 4 lines. And is it clear that all the 4 lines are present in this interval? Look here. The interval between 4 and 5. Therefore, m belongs to 4, 5. M lies in the interval 4, 5. The option is 2. So this is a question that comes under the concept of location of roots. So we'll go to the next question. The third question. Here is our next question, which is given in 9th Jan evening paper again. The number of all possible positive integral values of lambda. Understand this. The number of he is asking. How many possible positive integral values of lambda are there for which the roots of this quadratic equation are rational numbers? So this concept comes under the topic of nature of the roots. Okay, na? So we have this topic of nature of the roots in the playlist of quadratic equations. If you want, you can go and watch after this video. Let us see how to solve it. To understand how the roots can be rational numbers, first of all, let me find the roots using quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula says x is equal to minus b plus or minus root over b square minus 4ac whole divided by 2a. Observe one thing. So this is integer only. Plus or minus something divided by this is also integer only. If you want your roots to be rational, then the numerator must be an integer and the denominator must be an integer. So which means that root over delta square must be an integer. That means root over delta must be an integer. That means root over whatever is there inside, root over this thing must be an integer, and this will become an integer only when the thing inside the square root is a perfect square. Remember this. If the thing inside the square root, that means if the discriminant is perfect square, then automatically the roots are rational numbers. This is the point that you should note down. So which means, dear students, this delta, if I take this delta which is equal to minus 11 square minus 4 6 are 24 alpha. Minus 11 square is nothing but 121. Na? So this discriminant must be a perfect square. To check whether they are perfect squares or not, I can take any value for alpha actually to say. But he told very clearly that the number of all possible positive integral values of alpha. Positive integral values means he is clearly asking to take only natural numbers for alpha. Check with only natural numbers for alpha. Let us do that. Let us go with trial and error. Take all the possible natural numbers, substitute and check. First I will take alpha is equal to 1. Then what is the value of delta? 121 minus 24 ones are 24. So if you subtract, you will get 97. 97 is not a perfect square. So take alpha is equal to 2. And if you take alpha is equal to 2, delta is equal to 121 minus 24 2s are 48. And if you subtract, you will get how much? 73. 73 is again, it's not a perfect square. So even alpha is equal to 2 cannot be taken. Next go with alpha is equal to 3. You don't worry, sir, how long we should check like this? It's limited itself. Delta is equal to 121 minus 24 3s are 72. And if you subtract, you will get 49. 49 is a perfect square. It must be a perfect square. No? 49 is a perfect square. So for alpha is equal to 3, the roots are rational numbers. Alpha is equal to 3 can be taken. Next go for alpha is equal to 4. So delta is equal to 121 minus 24 4s are 96. So subtract, you will get 25. Again 25 is a perfect square. It can be taken. So alpha is equal to 4 can be taken. Next alpha is equal to 5. If you take, then delta is equal to 125 1 minus 24 5s are is 120. You will get 1. 1 is again a perfect square. So alpha is equal to 5 can be taken. What happens if I go for further values? After alpha is equal to 5, if I start taking alpha is equal to 6, observe. 121 minus 24 6 are is 144. 121 minus 144 is a negative number. From alpha is equal to 6, delta becomes negative. If delta becomes negative, we will not have the real roots itself. From alpha is equal to 6, alpha is equal to 7, alpha is equal to 8. If you substitute these kind of values, inside the square roots, we will get negative numbers. We will not have any real roots. So we will stop at alpha is equal to 5 itself. Therefore, for the values of 3, 4 and 5, for alpha is equal to 3, 4, 5, we are getting rational numbers as roots. The roots are rational numbers. And he is asking the number of all possible positive integrals values of lambda. So how many values of alpha is positive? How many values of alpha is possible here? Therefore, the number of values of alpha is equal to 3. So 3, 4, 5, just 3. So the option is first option, 3. Alpha is equal to 3. To learn more about the nature of the roots, you can go to the topic nature of the roots in the playlist of quadratic equations. So we will continue with next question, fourth question. Here is our next question. Consider the quadratic equation. QU means quadratic equation. This is the quadratic equation where C is not equal to 5. This is making sure that coefficient of x square is not 0. Okay. Let S be the set of all integral values of C. let S be the set of all integral values of C for which one root of the equation, this equation lies in the interval 0, 2 and its other root lies in the interval 2, 3. Then the number of elements in S is. Okay, na? So this is again a question that comes under the concept of location of roots. Okay, na? So you can watch the concept of location of roots in the playlist of quadratic equations after this video. Anyhow, let us see. Then the number of elements of S is given in 10th January morning shift, right? So here are the options. Observe carefully. I don't know whether the coefficient of x square is positive or negative. I don't know. But if you have learned the concept of location of roots, let us see. Very easy question itself to solve. But you have to observe. Take this numbers on the number line 0, 2, 3 on the number line. So one root is between 0 and 2. The other root is between 2 and 3. If it is an upward parabola, the graph comes like this. Or if it is a downward parabola, then the graph comes like this. In either case, you have to observe one thing. One root alpha comes between 0 and 2, right? So which means that f of 0 is positive and f of 2 is negative. So the first condition must be taken as f of 0 into f of 2 less than 0. Because if f of 0 is positive, then f of 2 is negative. Or if f of 0 is negative according to the downward parabola, then f of 2 is positive. Correct? If you go according to downward parabola, if f of 0 is negative, then f of 2 is positive. In either cases, if you take upward parabola or the downward parabola, in either cases f of 0 into f of 2 is negative. So let us use this first condition, and after that let us take the second condition with respect to 2 and 3. If you consider the upward parabola, f of 2 is negative and f of 3 is positive. So negative into positive is negative itself, correct? So f of 2 into f of 3 is negative if you consider upward parabola. If you consider the downward parabola, f of 2 is positive and f of 3 is negative. In this case also, f of 2 into f of 3 is negative. So these are the two conditions that you are supposed to consider if you want the roots, if you want one root between 0 and 2 and another root between 2 and 3. That is enough. No other conditions are required. For more clarity about this concept, you go to the part 2 of location of roots in our playlist of quadratic equations. Certainly you will understand it. Very easy topic. So first let us complete this first condition. Let us see what are the solutions you get in first condition. So if I take first condition, f of 0 into f of 2 less than 0. Here is our quadratic equation. F of 0, so c minus 5 into 0, forget it. 2c into 0, forget it. We are left out with c minus 4. So f of 0 is c minus 4. In case if you want, you can find it first, f of 0, f of 2, f of 3, and then you can substitute. Either way you can do it. So let us find it out. Let us find out what is f of 0. So f of 0 is equal to, if I substitute x as 0, f of 0 is equal to c minus 4. Next, let us find f of 2. F of 2. 2 square is 4. So 4 into c minus 4 is 4c minus 20. Next, x is 2. So 2 into 2c, 4c with minus, and plus c minus 4. So what do you get here? 4c gets cancelled. You will get c minus 24. So f of 2 is c minus 24. And we should also find f of 3. F of 3, substitute in the quadratic equation, c minus 5 into 3 square. So c minus 5 into 3 square is 9, minus 2c into 3, that means 6c, and then plus c minus 4. 9c minus 6c is 3c, 3c plus c is 4c, and minus 45 minus 4 is minus 49. So therefore f of 3 is equal to 4c minus 49. Remember this. First let us solve this inequality. So f of 0 is c minus 4 into f of 2. F of 2 is c minus 24. This is the first inequality you are supposed to use. And then let us go for the second inequality, which is f of 2 into f of 3 less than 0. F of 2 is c minus 24 into f of 3 is 4c minus 49 less than 0. So let us find out the common solution set of these two inequalities. So to learn how to find the solution set of inequalities, you can watch our videos, solution set of quadratic inequalities, part 1, part 2. And at the same time, you can also use wavy curve method. You can use any of these methods. You can go and check it in our playlists. So let us go to the number line. So the zeros here 4, 24, and here 49 by 4. 49 by 4 is 12.25, right? So 4 and then 49 by 4 and then 24. The first inequality says that C value lies between 4 and 24 because the symbol is less than. I'll take the values between 4 and 24. Or else you can also use wavy curve method. So either way, the value of C lies between 4 and 24. Next, when it comes to the second inequality, it says the value of C lies between 49 by 4 and 24. 49 by 4 and 24. So I should take that particular interval which contains both the lines. So the interval which contains both the lines is clearly 49 by 4, 24. Therefore, C belongs to 49 by 4. That means 12.25, 24. And what is the question once again? Let S be the set of all integral values of C for which all integral values of C. S is the set of all integral values of C. So then what are the integers that comes under the set S that comes inside this interval? It starts from 13, right? 13, 14, 15 and so on up to 23 only. Please observe that. Now you can count how many integers are there from 13 to 23 using the formula b minus a plus 1. So big number minus small number plus 1. Right? So therefore the number of elements in the set n of S is 11. That is the answer. The number of elements in the set from 13 to 23. Using the formula b minus a plus 1, you can find it out. You'll get 11 elements in this set. So the answer is 11. We'll go to the next question. Here is our next question. If the value of lambda such that the sum of the squares of the roots of the quadratic equation, has the least value is, that means alpha square plus beta square must be minimum for what value of lambda? That is what they are asking. If alpha square plus beta square is minimum for certain value of lambda, what is that value of lambda? Very easy question, but observe that it is not equal to 0, it is equal to lambda. Okay, now don't be in hurry, solve it carefully. So anyhow, the quadratic equation is x square plus 3 minus lambda into x plus 2 minus lambda equal to 0. Let us find out first the sum of the squares of the roots. That means alpha square plus beta square. So using symmetric function of roots, alpha square plus beta square is alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta. You can find the concept of symmetric function of the roots in our playlist of quadratic equations. So alpha plus beta is minus b by a, that means lambda minus 3 only, so with square, minus 2 into alpha beta is c by a, so c is 2 minus lambda. Just expand it using a minus b whole square, a square minus 2ab plus b square, and here minus 4 plus 2 lambda. So this is lambda square minus 4 lambda plus 5. So using the method of completing squares, you can go in two ways here. First, let me try using the method of completing squares. So this is a perfect square, lambda minus 2 whole square, right? So alpha square plus beta square is equal to lambda minus 2 whole square plus a constant 1. And he is asking alpha square plus beta square is minimum for certain value of lambda. So what is that value of lambda they are asking? Clearly, dear students, this entire thing is minimum when lambda minus 2 whole square is 0, correct? If lambda minus 2 whole square is 0, that is the least possible value for a perfect square, for any square. So this thing is minimum when lambda minus 2 is equal to 0. So alpha square plus beta square is minimum when lambda minus 2 is equal to 0. So which means that the value of lambda is 2. The value of lambda is 2. Be careful. He is asking at what value of lambda alpha square plus beta square is minimum. Okay, now the value of lambda. So it is 2. Or else you can use its formula, direct formula for any quadratic expression. it is an upward parabola, right? If it is an upward parabola, it will have a minimum value, and it is minimum at lambda is equal to minus b by 2a. It is minimum at lambda is equal to minus b by 2a. So minus b by 2a. So minus b means minus of minus 4 plus 4 divided by 2a means 2 ones are 2. So again you got the same answer now. Lambda is equal to 2. So this is another concept that comes under the graph of quadratic expressions and at the same time sign of quadratic expressions. So you can find that concept graph of quadratic expressions in our playlist of quadratic equations. So you can find like this or you can find like this. The value of lambda is 2. So in today's video we have discussed around 5 questions that were given in JEE Mains 2019 in various shifts of papers. In next video we'll continue solving again JEE Mains 2019 questions itself, and we'll complete all the questions that were covered in 2019 JEE Mains in various shifts. We'll continue with our next video, but before that, if you have understood the concepts, if you have understood the solutions, please like the video, share it, subscribe it. Most importantly, refer your friends. Let the channel grow. And let me know your feedback in the comment section. Thank you, dear students. Thanks for your time. We'll continue next class with next video.